This
sorry.
call is being recorded.
I was born in Bellwood, Illinois.
All right. And oh, cool. And what time were you
2:30 p.m.
born? All right, perfect. So please don't hesitate to interrupt if you have any questions whatsoever. That is totally fine. Um, yeah, I'm glad to see that you are a celestial spirit. Normally, I attach an alien construct article, but Aquariuses are the aliens of the zodiac to me anyway. But this actually gives you the spirit of high nobility, high queen. But your rising is in Cancer with the moon in Cancer. So your
Mm-hmm.
archetype, you're actually the high priestess, which is super badass. Truly, like Cancer moon, Cancer risings are some of the most psychic people, especially with born in the late 80s, 90s, because now you have Neptune opposite this. Oh, your chart is legit. You got a really dope chart. Okay, this is really dope. This is some interesting layers here, right? So I can already see right off the bat that level of interference too, because you have Uranus and Saturn that's opposite you. So like the kind of opposition you have is very nebulous. It's invisible. It's designed to gaslight the crap out of you. And then people find out the hard way that you're not a Cancer. Your sun is an Aquarius, and they're not going to treat you like that. But interestingly, right? Because you'll bring it to people real quick, the electricity, all that. But yeah, once again, please don't hesitate to interrupt if there's anything you want to question, ask. And I say that because, once again, um, the first place we can start with really is your moon, especially when we take into account, the nature of how realistically you personally tap into, how do I say it, uh, this intuitive power. So having moon in Cancer is in its dignity. Your very core identity and personality as High Priestess is fundamentally linked to the powerful dignity of your soul that is sincere and holy. You are the holy soul, hence the High Priestess. And as the High Priestess, right, you carry the vibration of sincere knowledge, the understanding of the intuitive power of knowledge here, which is also very key because this working with water and also air has you feel into the nonlinear, irrational feelings, but you're aware of everything logically. It's a very special kind of like uh, almost claircognizance and omniscience that takes unlikely, aspects and works them together because you were born with the Virgo Sun Moon signature, right before the opening King comes. So the way your soul works with your spirit, you're able to transform and detach fully to your feelings when you step into your Aquarius. But sometimes, your awareness of the macrocosm is now influenced by your receptivity to the subtle microcosmic feelings and vibrations. It's just you'll actually know what you're feeling, unlike most other Cancer placements. So that makes you dangerous to other people because you now deal with others primarily. 10 degrees Cancer rising using the equal sign system makes your sun 10 degrees on the eighth house cusp. And your Mercury is 27 degrees Aquarius. So you have a mastermind genius brain that processes knowledge, dealing with others collectively near instantly. So fast it looks like intuition. I want to speak to the opposition though, because this is a rare configuration that I would say less than 5% of the world population has, because the only
Mm-hmm.
people who have Neptune and Capricorn are only people who were born from like 86 to like 98. And
Mm-hmm.
So that's not that many people. And then on top of that, those who have cancer risings are significantly less. So we're talking about maybe less than 2% of the population. And then those of you with Aquarius suns, where this is 12th house. So basically that dynamic, the cancer rising alone with Neptune on the DC now allows you to feel other people's body language. So Neptune allows our body to move on its own because it links our intuitive connection to the astral realm through imagination with our body. So in the seventh, especially of other people, you're going to draw in physically through context clues and body language, unconsciously and subconsciously, how full of crap other people are. Like if they have no integrity, your body will just be like, ew, wasting time because Neptune is a bit of an asshole in Capricorn. It's not compassionate like in Pisces. Neptune is like, get this bum away from me, right? But the way you feel about it in Cancer is going to be the opposite. Like you're going to be nurturing the wounds, right? Like you're going to feel sincerely, like, oh no, don't be like that. Except Neptune is always right. And so you've learned with this
Mhm.
relationship, this strange relationship, to believe in your intuition around other people because you really just know. And this is where the Neptune in the seventh is going to, like, someone can pick their nose with this, and the way their body moves will psychically give you insight into the integrity of their character or lack thereof. That in and of itself is powerful. But then you have Moon in Cancer, so real time, you're feeling it. It's
Mhm.
not how they act affects how you feel about yourself. And this is where if you don't feel right about someone, it's because they're not right. They don't have right intentions to it. Which you can
Mhm.
say that about anyone, but it's so direct towards you that as an Aquarius sun, you can already be aware of it and how they deal with you. And now blend the best of those both worlds to where it's kind of impossible to lie to you. It's just
Yeah.
people see the Cancer rising and they think they can gaslight you, and then you turn on the Aquarius real quick and you're like, oh, wait, she knows. Um, and it really adds a very unconventional dynamic in dealing with you. And because Saturn is going through your eighth house right now, you're drawing extraordinary boundaries. Congratulations. Jupiter is transiting through your MC. So, with your MC in the ninth house, your legacy is to change the world. In fact, your destiny is linked to your legacy and Venus. So, you're meant to be believed in a way that's very, the Venus on the MC is very beautiful because it adds this very dreamy, unconditionally loving look to you. uh at its worst, it can project a lot of obsession or just like strangeness towards you, where people think you really care about what they think because they see you're very beautiful. They're like, oh my gosh. Not to say that you're not kind. It's just the this Venusian quality adds this like illusory look to you where people can imagine things about you that isn't grounded in reality at all, and then get angry
Mhm.
at you when you don't play out to their fantasy, right? But
Mhm.
it also speaks of Venus's prominence to how she's going to pick out opportunities with you, especially with you in your 10th. It's a collective teaching of divinity through the elements and purity of the heart and divinity of the heart that you're destined to create your own way of life and philosophy around, using the analytical nature of your critical attitude and how you got the receipts, but then you bring them all together to inspire people towards a belief. You also help people see into the unseen in these social dynamics and how the interconnectivity of magic unites all of us together. So, yeah, this can kind of denote an aspect of fame, but it's really more so tying relationship dynamics. So, Jupiter here is evolving your career over the next 5 months since December. By the time we step into May, uh, Jupiter will be getting ready to return in your 10th house coming into 2023 as well. And you're going to come into a lot of career success that you individually step into. So this is the year you're changing. Your rising star year is ascending how you look at the success. Whereas the Aqua Sun, you're manifesting that career success through more money and strange avenues of wealth that are only strange because they're not traditional, and they're super magical. They're super magical. So this brings us to your karma. So this is a mind blowing. Venus does square Mars. Correct me if I'm wrong. Venus and Pisces, Pisces is antisocial. So Venus and Pisces is in its own world. It doesn't mean that it can't have fun with other people. Very popular misconception because Pisces can be social. It's just they're opposite Virgo. So like they're not. Pisces wants to explore the imagination, and Venus in Pisces is your heart's desire to really tap in to this divine vibe. But Mars in Sagittarius is too adventurous, and sometimes Mars in Sagittarius wants to cut the fairy tales and just go ride a motorbike and adventurously live your life. They work really well together, except when they don't work well together, and then it's just like a
Yeah.
foggy mess. So, how do you experience that? Because I would, sometimes your Mars and Sag may want to just travel, but Venus and Pisces may be out of its comfort zone if the vibe isn't right. And this could attract different archetypes and relationships where Mars and Sag attracts a very primal, lusty, adventurous vibe, but your heart wants someone that's romantic, and this can
Yeah.
connect with both, but it can be hard to balance both too.
Yeah, it has been very hard. I've had difficulties with relationships because, like, my Venus and Pisces, I'm all in. I'm very devoted, but unfortunately, I don't get that back.
Hmm.
And then, with my Cancer, I'm very like a homebody. So I've just been looking for somebody that I can have adventures with, but we can be homebodies together and eat and just enjoy. But people be playing games.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the notorious game playing
yeah,
for damn sure. I feel you on that.
yeah, yeah. So I've been doing travel nursing, so that's helped. But just this year, I just really am, I'm getting ready to relocate, and I just really want that stable foundation and environment so I can go ahead and really get into the areas of my life that, I can truly expand and, which is my creative side that I haven't really been able to tap into.
Right.
Mhm.
That's deep. I can imagine also, there we go. Yeah, I can imagine also there might be, now that you've progressed into this Pisces space, just a stronger connection, like with the vibes around you and how much more powerfully you connect with people around you as well.
Mhm.
And also put yourself in a position to, as the celestial goddess, unite and connect everyone with your knowledge. Because now, if we look at the 12th house nature of these planets and energies here, what we're going to see is that, primarily a lot of how you actualize most of this potential comes in the form of dealing with other people. And this is where people don't even know they snitch to you with their emotions and body language. Because in the eighth house, correct me if I'm wrong, everyone who I've noticed with eighth house prominent energy, people just open up and tell you their secrets. In this
Yeah.
case, awesome. And even if they didn't want to, you would still pick it up from them. Even if you didn't want to, like you would just pick it up from them. Like you take secret knowledge from other people and you feel individually how to understand it sincerely. And you have golden value. You have this
Mhm.
adventurous action where you live an amazing lifestyle. And this is what I wanted to talk about. Saturn 28 degrees Sag, Uranus 29 degrees Sag. That is rare. That is masterful. And the only sign that can harness Uranus is Aquarius. If so everyone else, it's channeling, but only Aquarius knows how to really use this. So this is the very wild, unconventional nature of the friends you attract and how you engage in your community and impact your community. But in the sixth house, you're meant to live the most unconventional lifestyle that you have full and total control over. So it doesn't have to be traditional. As a Cancer rising, if the work you do you don't love, the universe will cock block you from actually working it. Like the MC in Pisces has to be attached towards your dreams and really creating your dream life. It doesn't mean you can't do that in a corporate setting, But after you show the upper management how to believe, or to show the higher meaning of what is happening, the universe usually sends you to the next job. Doesn't mean you can't keep a job, but if you've noticed this, or if you're more self-employed, this favors more not even working, which makes sense because,
Mm-hmm.
right, you have a high royal spirit and as a high priestess. High priestess isn't really supposed to like work at 9 to 5, really. So, right, the creator kind of aligns your lifestyle. But Saturn here is such discipline and mastery and how amazing the life you live. But the 29 degrees is like channeling this alien frequency of claircognizant visions that guide you, which now spill over to Neptune, intuitively aligning you to the right people to move forward with. So the golden value that you have in Leo is based on this active aspect of your lifestyle that links to Jupiter here, right? In the 10th house, which expands your career goals, which is really dynamic. And on top of that, this moves forward to realistically now manifest in Leo, because as a creative, or as a high priestess, as the representative of sincerity, you manifest righteousness, you manifest creative value, you manifest this multimedia, visual, creative energy, or awesome energy, the passion. But now the eighth house is other people's resources. So you deal with other people's knowledge. You're aware of knowledgeable influences that can invest in your creativity, or knowledge of your own you can invest in others that add to your wealth, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So the eighth house Aquarius is very extraordinary because you transform the knowledge of other people, you deal with what other people know, and you're able to almost like the eighth house placements specialize also in like gaining investments from people. And because Pluto squares this, the Pluto squares to Leo and Aqua in the late 80s, 90s are Pluto squares of intense jealousy. Okay. When Pluto is opposite Taurus, in Scorpio, people either hate Taurus or love Taurus. Key example, DJ Academics or Chris Brown. They hate them or love them. It's actually fascinating. When it squares Leo, people are just super jealous of Leo. And it happens to Scorpio too. Like people either are obsessed in love with Drake or they just hate him. And now with Aquarius, it's a little different because people will now be people will throw shade at you, but you're at the universe. So it's like shooting a gun at the sky. And people just hate that they can't reach you with their passive aggressive, psychological subliminal hate. So they try and undermine you in different ways that the Pluto square could be a fear of expressing what you know intimately with others, because they're going to take it super weird. They're going to
Mm-hmm.
just, be very vindictive about it. And this could attract a very possessive, ulterior impurity in people who aren't pure. For people who are pure, this could be an extreme obsession in healthy or unhealthy ways because they tap into how pure your knowledge is, and how you're really hooking it up, really hooking it up. See, most of the planets here, right, that are on the seventh house region of the chart in itself, you're an ascended master. So clearly you came here to service other people. That's why Aries is Jupiter, but you have no Taurus. You only have Chiron and Gemini. You have Moon in Cancer, which is actually significant, but all of that individuality focuses towards others. You have an individual soul, you have an individual personality, but you have a goddess level spirit, a collective spirit, the cosmic awareness that sees the sociological understanding of how to deal with the collective while feeling into your own individuality, your own sincere feelings about your awareness of who you're dealing with. So it focuses everything towards other people. And you just want to make sure not to lose your own individuality. But I know you wouldn't, because it's everything is centered through this sincerity. Like you wear your emotions on your sleeve in that sense, but as an Aquarius, you're still very wise in how you do so. Chiron in Gemini is healing communication. Opposite Uranus, people think you're crazy. MC in Pisces, people think you're delusional. They don't know that you're a celestial, like wizard goddess from another realm. And so, like, and I wanted to say it specifically like that because that sounds so crazy, but there's truth into it. You know what I mean? Like And that's what makes you controversial. Like, according to science, you don't exist. So Chiron and Gemini is healing communication. Your very frequency of vibration, especially linked to Mercury and Aquarius, heals people. You have knowledge of what you're saying, and you know just what to say to trigger the beliefs so extremely that people now project that you're some crazy witch, when really you knew you had to say it. Especially in the 12th house,
Mhm.
it's very misunderstood because you can tap into claircognizantly the ideas and thoughts that divide people, and they're just freaking stupid. And there's a mischievousness to Gemini that would just speak on it anyway to bring this up so it could be dealt with. So Chiron in the 12th could be you healing, you hiding your ideas. You may not be comfortable expressing some of how you felt for a while because you know the backlash, or you just know people aren't right. And Chiron and Gemini will piss people off because the truth pisses people off before it sets them free, but it heals people. It's just we're not in a perfect world, so it triggers people. And
Yes.
and it's opposite Saturn and Uranus, so it's like everything you say, someone's trying to play contrarian and act more scientific than they are when like you're breaking down the truth simply. And if they
My
just
mother.
right, right.
Yes.
Oh my God. And it could just
Oh,
no, it's
it's
amazing.
exhausting.
And
I'm
thank you
sorry.
so much for no, no, you're straight. Thank you so much for sharing that because it's one thing to read it on paper. It's another thing to meet someone who lives this. Like, it is exhausting because it's also like it taps you into the angels. This is angelic healing as a celestial high queen that commands angels. So this is like you're the undercover boss. It's like you're a celestial goddess that came down into the realm of mortals, and they don't even know that like you're hooking them up. And you don't have any like higher than thou. Do you know where I'm from? You're very humble with this. You're very kind. It's like you almost know why they act like that, right? But it's just still very ironic. And so
Mhm.
you're healing this transcendent sacred truth that helps innovate people. You set people's lifestyles free, but if they're willing to be disciplined and commit to that belief into the vision you see with and for them, which collectively rounds about to step you into so much authentic individual success. But did you have any questions so far?
Um, let me think. I guess I'm just I guess I'm just trying to figure out a way to not be so exhausted. I ground
Mm,
myself, and I've been on this journey since like 2016, like heavy. I've always been into astrology and like witchy type stuff, metaphysics, but like I really got into it in 2016. But the older I get, the stronger it gets, like where I can actually read people's minds now. And like I didn't realize I was doing it at first. But then, long story
nice.
short, I was taking care of this man out in Nevada, and I was doing a blood sugar check. And I was rubbing his finger, non-sexual, okay?
Right,
I was just trying to
right,
get the blood to the tip of the finger. And immediately I got like this weird like vibe in my mind, like that like it was like sexual to him. But like obviously I wasn't thinking that. And then like he completely like lied and it was like he told my like one of my CNAs, he was like, I don't want her in here because she was rubbing my finger and it made me feel uncomfortable. And I'm like, what? And then I realized, I'm like, oh my God, I knew it. Like I felt it and I heard it. And I'm just trying to figure out how to like ground that because like when I'm stressed out, I take on so much of people's energy that I
yep,
get irritated,
yep.
and it's getting stronger, and I'm trying to figure out how to manage that because it's
You're
very
amazing.
loud.
You're extraordinary. So you just taught me right now. You just taught me how to see this chart. So basically, you dealing with other people is immersing your own energy with other people. You're entering their space, right? And that's the eighth
Mm-hmm.
house Aquarius. But then you're feeling everything. That's bringing everything to your Cancer moon. So your Cancer moon through Neptune in the seventh is literally taking people's karma. It's literally a karmic relationship you have with the collective where you're healing them outright at a very angelic level. And the thing here is you're feeling the subtle psychic vibrations of the cosmic telepathy the Aquarius Sun and Mercury has that can even hear things before they happen. But
Mm-hmm.
your processing and feeling of this happens real time. So thank you for explaining that because it getting stronger is Saturn in your eighth. And the irritation square Pluto are the boundaries that need to be drawn because you're now coming into controlling this ability for the first time post Saturn
Mhm.
return. And Jupiter is evolving your intuitive channel so that by the time it's in the 10th house next year, 2023, you're going to be in a position to autonomously now lead yourself and do this more yourself on your own terms and come more into that success. Because the North Node in your 11th is manifesting like a basketball team of sorts where you use your own talents to be a part of a grounded collective. But thank you so much for sharing that because that's really the strengthening aspect. Saturn is the karmic limitations and lessons of trust issues that arise because of these dynamics and because of people's attempts to gaslight you, but they don't know that you have the eighth house Aquarius and you know real time what's happening from a higher perspective. But these things will
Mhm.
be managed. You're going through the difficulty first with Saturn, and then as that clears, it becomes a strength. It's erasing it so that you can deal with it real time. And the strengthening is happening through that like as it's strengthening, it'll probably feel frustrating, but that
Mhm.
frustratingness is you strengthening it. So you're already doing it, but you're coming more into an active understanding once we step into Aries season starting in 3 days. And
Mhm.
when Pluto goes to an Aquarius, that's going to change the whole game, and that's going to awaken a lot more of the latent energy collectively that will give you more extreme insight onto how to proceed. It's just a lot of the frustration is because you know what's happening,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
the gaslighting is just very sinister. It's very sinister.
It's very ridiculous. Last year was horrible. It was horrible. Last year in the year in 2020, 2021, where that's actually how I started watching you. And it was in 2020. Like no, it was 2021. It was you were talking about people that were gaslighting and basically making you feel crazy for reacting a certain way based off of stuff that they're doing. I experienced that, and that's when I'm like, okay, like he was obviously sent, so I could like learn more. I'm like, so then I really started, watching you more and more and just learning. And anytime I needed a answer to one of my questions, something you would always post something, and it would always be in one of those videos. So it's very frustrating when people say little things and it's like you try to like cover it up as a joke, but it's like I felt all of it and it's just very
Mm,
exhausting.
yeah,
Yeah.
especially the covering it up like a joke thing, where
Mhm.
that's just very uh, it's just very express it. And these people and a lot of people, there's going to be a sub layer narrative text that people will have no idea you're completely tapped into, because that would mean they would have to accept your true celestial nature, and a lot of people just are not on your level. It doesn't mean that they're dumb, it doesn't mean that they're less than you. It just means that in terms of awareness they're less, but like they're just not on that level. And that's what makes Aquarius such a controversial vibration, because it really forces y'all force us to believe in a supernatural, to know that the supernatural exists. And in that Aquarian perspective, it's not supernatural, it's science, it's all knowledge, it's all science, it's blending everything. But Uranus 29 degrees is such a huge deal. 2031, when we have the Saturn Uranus opposition in Gemini, you're on the verge of creating a brand new, amazing lifestyle of freedom that can automate and pimp people's. Like, you can look at anyone's lifestyle and just know how to transform it. And this can work with innovative health and holistic health routines. You're also exposing the so Saturn Uranus, we're here to bust the system. And in Sagittarius, you're exposing outright the duplicitous, shady nature of the health industry, and how most of these treatments are all like how there's so many alternative treatments in living your life and in health that you may kind of completely innovate and bring to light. But yeah, other than that, I'm going to send you this recording, and you stay blessed as always.
Okay, thank you. I really appreciate your time and energy today.
No problem.
Thank you. Happy full moon too, by the way. Or Eve. Happy full moon Eve, so.
Right. Likewise.
Thank
And
you.
you're going to get an email from WeTransfer that'll send the recording.
Okay. Thank you so much. I really appreciate. I needed this. This is what I needed to hear. So yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Well, you stay blessed as always.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Peace.
Mhm.